The death of the PS4. There was an announcement made by Sony. Talk me through this because I kind of compared this to like cell phones. Whenever Apple puts out the new phone, and then people go, I don't need the new phone. My phone works just fine. And they go, yeah, right. And then they push a button, and all of a sudden your phone that was working just fine before this new phone came out, now all of a sudden is slower than dick. And I guess what? Now you got to come get that new phone. Is that similar to what this is? What does that mean? That they're shutting down PS4?
Not necessarily. So the issue with this one specifically, from my understanding, because I looked into it a little bit, because there were a couple things in my head that I was thinking why people are actually talking about this. To me, this is just a cycle of life, right? You get the new system, the old system lingers, and then we move on to the next one. We stop making games for that one, and we make the games for the new generation. Like, that's how it works. They'll make a couple that are cross. Like, there are a few overlaying games where you can buy on the last gen and this gen, but eventually they stop doing that, and it's gen and the next gen.
Which is important to bring out, because this is not the first time, obviously, based on what you just said, this is not the first time this has happened.
It's the way it works for everything. The phones being a good example. They got sued for that, by the way. But yeah, like, don't do that. But yes, it's just what happens when. And to me, it makes sense. Like, if you have a new system, you want to drive people to that system. Right. But the problem is we're talking about the PS4. So we have to understand, like, what time frame that is. This is around the time frame where the industry are telling people you're no longer going to own games. This is around this time frame where we're going from you buy a game and you have the game to you buy the game and it's essentially a live service game for the most part. Like, it can be updated. So I remember around this time very vaguely, and I looked it up a little bit, and I think I remembered it okay, where this is around the time where they were basically telling people when this system comes out, you're gonna need online for it. Basically, like, you can have it, but in order to patch it and update it, you need to have internet access. So once you update it, you can play your one-player stuff. That's perfectly fine. But in order to do so, you need the internet to. That was the catch-22. Because if I'm not mistaken, the PS4 had discs still. And at some point, they were getting away from discs. Now, I looked this up, and PS5 also has a disc slot, but they also have an option to not have the disc slot. And I feel like one was better than the other, but again, that got away from me. I didn't have time to research all of that, but this is just what I remember. So this is a big deal because a lot of the games, it's a big deal for those who are still using it, but a lot of those games, those services are ending. So you needed for your, like, character storage or your information, your data for your game, and save states. I thought I saw something about, like, basically all the background information you need to support that game is going away. So I don't know. I tried to find it. I was searching it to see if I can find a little bit more, like, solid information, and I just kept getting a lot of vague stuff. So I guess the topic needs to develop a little bit more.
Yeah, but
if I'm not mistaken, you still will have your games in whatever state that they're in. But a lot of these, if referring to, like, online games that you still play, like if you play any of the Call of Duties, that's dead. Like, if you're playing Call of Duty, a certain Call of Duty on PS4, from my understanding, those services are gone. So if you want to continue to play it, you have to upgrade your shit. And I feel like that's where a lot of I don't even want to say complaints. I don't know what you saw, but a lot of videos I watched were people explaining that. And the comments pretty much going like, well, that fucking sucks. You know what I mean? And a lot of other people were like, well, just upgrade your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I looked up the prices today. I mean, a PS5 is like $400. And I know that $400 maybe for some people are it's a little steep, but the system's also been out for 6 years.
Right.
So
I wanted to ask you about that because I remember I actually looked it up recently. We had a conversation back in May, and we mentioned it last week, and I'm keeping an eye on it. We'll talk about it again. But when we talked about GTA 6 back in May, I had asked you the question that the more that they build on this, the more likely this game was going to be a little bit more expensive than people thought. And I had asked you then, do you think that they're going to price themselves out of a situation of being able to sell more games? That the price will be so astronomical for people that they won't be able to partake. It'll cut into their sales. You had mentioned something about disagreeing with that. That might not be the case.
yeah.
Here with this system conversation that we're having, it's very easy for people to be like, just get your fucking weight up, bro. You're good. But are they pricing themselves out by doing this, by elevating and elevating and elevating? They're creating something that costs more and more and more to produce, which means it's going
in what way?
More. Well,
in what way are they pricing themselves out? Because short answer is no, they're not.
Right, but that's only because if people start spending, they have to spend more to be a part of the PS world. Well, for the people who can't afford to do that, they're being priced out. And what I'm saying is that the more that number goes up, the larger that priced out group will become. So are they shooting themselves in the foot by constantly raising this price over and over and over? When we were kids, these games were $30-$40. Some of these games now are ranging in anywhere from $80 to $100, and that looks like it's going to be even crazier. GTA 6 is announcing that they're still set for the November release date, but they're now hyping the game even further by saying it's a free roam. And I saw an article the other day where it was like big news that like they've created the game to where like the buildings themselves in the game are not just aesthetic buildings. You can go into these buildings. You could explore these buildings. There's over 700 buildings being designed that you can go into and live in this world. That's not cheap to put together, and it's going to cost.
They're going to
does that hurt in sales?
No,
people are just
because every person because there are going to be microtransactions in this game.
There's going in every game now. That's the new.
Yeah, but for every person that buys the game, you're going to get more than whatever that box ticket is out of them. So if the game is $100 base game $100,
right?
You have potential to get thousands of dollars off of that one ticket,
right?
So,
but it's $1,000 for a game that this person is purchasing and essentially don't really own. So that opens it up for more.
That doesn't matter,
right?
That doesn't matter. That's a boomer mindset. Like that's just the way that kind of fucking it's just the way that it works, right? What you and I are talking about right now, that statement you just made makes sense to you and me.
Right.
Alex and them don't give a fuck about that.
No, right.
That's not on their brain. That's their now. They don't give a fuck about what you're saying, what I'm saying. And most people, if they are him, can't get it because the parents can't afford to get it for them, which is gotta do what you gotta do, right? Don't get it. There's plenty of shit when I grew up I couldn't get because my parents couldn't afford it. It's no different than anyone else. The thing is, though, back in my day when we bought
back in my day.
Listen, I like being old. They ain't got nothing that shit. I wear that proudly. But what I'm saying is when we bought games, they were getting $50 from us.
Right.
That's it. You're getting the console and you're getting the game, and then if you develop more good games, you'll get more $50 from me. The other one would be if you're renting my game. Then I'll get a little bit more over time, but for the most part, I'm selling the game to you. I get $50 from that cartridge, from that ticket. Today, I'll sell you the game at $100, and over the span of 5 years, you may spend $1,000 to $5,000. Some people are even fucking crazier, $100,000 off of one ticket. So cutting some costs, getting rid of things that you don't necessarily need. PS4 people, if they're that adamant about losing the PS4, chances are they weren't going to upgrade anyway. Then what you're doing,
which is why they wanted to keep the PS4, yeah.
Right. Well, just because yes, but now anyone that would upgrade but otherwise wouldn't because they have the thing that they want, now they're going to upgrade. And with that upgrade comes more purchases. And if we're talking about GTA specifically, if they play GTA, you're going to get more. To me, in my brain, there's no loss. There's only gain. Because now you can take the people that are working on the PS4 as a whole and move that team over or cut that team. Like, you don't need that. You can cut costs all over the place. If anything, they probably had this in the pipeline for a while, which is why they're delaying GTA even more. They're going to delay GTA even more if they see that coming. Let's cut the PS4. Let's see what revenue we make from this shift. Let's see who jumps on the bandwagon of PS5 and who we lose and who we keep. Give those people who are going to upgrade time to upgrade. Let them sit with that. We'll delay our game another year because, like I told you then, I'll say the same thing now. The longer they delay this shit is just going to make it sell even crazier. People are not giving up on GTA. That last GTA was so fucking good, and if they're able to deliver what they're saying on this one's going to be even crazier. So
what happens if they don't? What happens if this drops and it's not as good as 5? Is that even a possibility in people's heads that there's no way after all this that it's going to be bad?
If they literally didn't change anything, and I'm sure they did, but even if they didn't change anything, and let's say they just made the scale bigger, right? They take all this time.
They just change skins. And then
right. Some skins, some new stuff. They widen the map. They just added more depth, but not necessarily
changed the font.
Yeah, but not necessarily changed how anything functioned. Let's say they did none of that. They just worked on building on what they had on another game, and then they just expanded it. They didn't add anything else crazy. They worked on buildings, just made it more lively, and then sold that. It will do even better than the last one because, in my opinion, GTA, what was it? 5, right? GTA 5. The reason why that was so good is because of what the community was able to do. That game ran off the people playing it, not necessarily the game itself. The tools that they were given to be able to make the fun that they did, like an actual sandbox. I know there was actual things you can do in the game. It wasn't fully sandbox, but the way they created that community, all you need to be able to do is move that over to 6 and give them some new toys to play with, and it's out of here. To me, it's very hard to fuck this up. You can't fuck this up. You have to literally break the game. You would have to break the game, which can happen. But you would
imagine everybody pops in the disc and imagine they pop in the disc and San Andreas pops up. You're like, what the fuck?
Disc. That's hilarious. Look at you, disc. What the fuck? That's the whole point. Get rid of PS4. We don't want this. Get that shit out of here.
It's like The Simpsons. That's the joke. That's what I'm saying. No, but it's the fact that as someone who is older and you've lived through almost all of the iterations and evolutions of these games, the fact that the microtransaction has become so normal or so normalized, where it's like you said earlier, in our day, we bought a console, we bought a game, we were good. Now you buy the console, now you buy the game, now you have to buy any additional packs that come with that game if you want the full version of the actual game, which, for the record, nowadays there is no such thing as a full version to a game because there will always be DLC packages of some kind generated into the games. You have to now buy
early, but yes.
There's a cap. Some of these games have caps to how much you can actually.
I said not necessarily because it still kind of reigns true, but there is a trend right now where we are starting to get completion of games again.
Okay.
And
they want to see that
100%
on there.
Yes, it's a little bit more explaining, which is one of the topics I want to bring, but I want to put my shit together, one amongst a few things. But yes, we are seeing a trend where some of the games that do have the systems are repeatable, but there is kind of like a completion thing you can achieve. That's becoming a lot more popular today than it's ever been, actually.
Fair, but there's, and I was gonna to continue what I was saying before is if, and that's now you also have to get the internet connection package that comes with it, like a Live or whatever PlayStation has. You have to now, and they come in bundles. You can get a basic package, or you can get the ultimate package, and then you can. I just found out. You know what I just found out? And this is not tied to PS, but the last PS that I ever remember either owning or being a part of was 3. That's as far back as I go. After 3, around that time period, we had stumbled upon the Xbox at a friend's house. We purchased the Xbox. Again, I'm not a huge gamer, so it sits there for the most part. I fell in love with Left 4 Dead 2, which, by the way, in 2025, there's still people playing Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, yeah, I could sure. 100%.
Pop it on right now and
you'll get a game. You will get a game.
We'll get a game for sure. And so I haven't been with the PS in forever. I've had Xbox Live for years. It's been it just reoccurs on my credit card once a year. Like, I don't even look at it. I go to my Xbox, I sign in, and I'm good. Somewhere down the line,
on the brokies. Flex on the brokies said that their shit's going away. They can't afford the upgrade. That's right. I don't even fucking think about it. Discover takes care of that, Terrence. I ain't got nothing to do with it. That.
I just keep scrolling. And somewhere along the line, when my son was born and he started playing more games, we expanded from the Xbox Live Basic, like Gold, whatever the fuck it was at the time, and we added the Game Pass. And with the Game Pass, it was at the time it was like
fantastic value nowadays.
Well, here's the thing: it was like $9 or $10 at the time. It's obviously gone up since then, but I was like $9 or $10. I didn't think much of it. I said, "Okay, fine, we'll get it," because it gave my son access to a bunch of different games, and he can play whatever he wants, and we're good, we're straight. And again, I don't think about it. I just But in my mind, Xbox Game Pass was always an optional feature to the Live. I had purchased them separate from each other, almost years apart from one another.
At one point they were, yes.
At one point they were. And here's my ignorance, because like I just said, I don't think about it. It just auto charges and I go about my life. So we were going over finances the other day, and my son has not picked up the Xbox controller in fucking years. If he plays a console, he's playing Switch, but he's barely even on that. He's an iPad kid with the fucking laptop setup. He's creating a lot more on that. Gaming for him right now is kind of like what is like right now, before we went on the air, when you were asking where Alex was. He's with his friends right now as we speak. He's got the fucking laptop on. He's got a setup, right? So
PC gaming.
He's essentially, he kind of is, yeah. So we were going over finances the other day, and my wife was like, "Do we even need the Game Pass anymore?" So I was like, he's never really on there. Fuck it, I'll cancel it. So I canceled the Game Pass, and then I went about my life. Well, I got drunk the other night and decided I want to play some Left 4 Dead. So I put on Left 4 Dead, and I tried to sign into my Xbox Live like normal. I don't even think about it. I just do it. And it told me I don't have Xbox Live anymore. And I said, what the fuck happened? I didn't cancel my Live, so what the fuck? So I went to settings and all that stuff. I ended up being sent to the website, and that's when I found out that the Game Pass and the Live are now one. And when I got rid of the Game Pass, I got rid of my Live account. And I went, what the fuck? Why the fuck is that together? So I'm like, what the shit is this?
I mean, it's a better deal.
I found this out while drunk, so I did not take it well. I ended up playing anyway, some single mode, but come on. I was trying to fuck, and now I'm jerking off. This is crazy. I don't want to do this. it was a very frustrating night. So then my wife was like, "I'll tell you what, when we sober up in the morning, we'll look it up and we'll see what we can do financially." We never looked at it again, so I'm not in a rush. But
Sure.
that's part of my next question, which was these. I feel like these bundles and these situations change more rapidly than they used to. It always seems like they're coming up with the next better deal or the next better package. It's a flowing mechanism at this point. Because video games, when we were kids, video games was the kid thing. It was children play that. It is now billion, damn near $1 trillion industry.
Because those kids grew up and got jobs and they're still playing video games.
And they never stopped. Right, exactly. So and it's not
got
just
a game going right here, by the way.
Actually, what are you playing right now?
It's on auto, but it's the same shit I played when I was at your house, Final Fantasy 11.
Oh, okay. but that's my point. Not only did the gamers of that era from before grow up to become adults who still game, even for the kids that didn't, there were enough kids. There's a lot of kids who grew up in our era who know of games, had siblings that play games. They just weren't good enough to be gamers per se. That grew up
enough.
Either way, but they grew up and became adults in a different way than the gamers did. The gamers love the video games because they're gamers. Those siblings, those cousins, those people who grew up in the gaming world but didn't partake, don't look at games as it's the kid thing. They see money. They saw an opportunity. Those business people, there's business people right now as we speak who work in Sony, who work in Microsoft, who work in Nintendo, who might have grown up being, I don't know, 7th or 8th best in the class, who now run the fucking show. Who now are
that shows sometimes, unfortunately, but yes, you're actually absolutely right.
So they bring in the individuals who did obsess, who did take every step in the game, who are those 100% complete artists, who are those I got to get everything. They look at that and they said, okay, I couldn't game well enough to be in that group, but I can make money off the group. And I could push this issue. And I really feel like today's, like you said about Alex and his generation of people, we grew up with a console war. They don't know what consoles are. They have them, but they don't.
So that's actually a good point. That's a good point because Alex is actually a really good threshold for that. Because they're literally, you'll watch, if you look into some of this stuff, you'll notice them saying that the console wars are pretty much over. Like Steam is teaming up with Xbox, PlayStation is teaming up with Microsoft, so that shit's kind of over. Funny part is, back in my day, that wasn't a thing yet. It wasn't a thing yet because I remember when we were talking about, I think it was a Nintendo thing we were watching, and no. It was about Blizzard. We were talking about Blizzard and how World of Warcraft
Game Changer available now on YouTube. You can hear our review.
They were talking about World of Warcraft, and they were talking about. I forget exactly how the topic came up, but I started going off about the fact that Final Fantasy 11 is usually ignored, not talked about very often in the MMO landscape. When you watch videos, very rarely will anybody talking about MMOs will bring up Final Fantasy 11. But Final
7
Fantasy
is
11,
usually the one that comes up,
right. But we're talking about like World of Warcraft, like online games. 11 is the online game. That one was cross compatible. It was PC, it was PlayStation, and it was Xbox. So as time went on, the division happened, and that generation didn't know what cross play was. It was like you need to buy a PlayStation if you want to play with your friends. Now it's going back to the way it was when I was a kid, and now our kids, for now anyway, don't even know what the fuck the war is. You know what I mean? Like they can have a PC, or their friend can be on PS2, or their friend can have a Switch or an Xbox and all play the same game together, no matter what system that they're on. So they're bringing all that stuff together. And this is part of it.
When I take my son to classmates' birthday parties, we're in the same house and they're in the same room. They're not even looking at each other. They're all on their devices that are linked and they're playing together, but they're all linked into different devices, all doing the thing. One's on a console. There's Alex, I think at one point was on his iPad playing Minecraft while they were on the Xbox, and this other person was like on their mom's phone or something like that, and they were just
normal. That's a Tuesday when I was his age. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've been in my buddy's house and we're both facing opposite directions, looking at different walls, playing the same game. That's the best part, when you're playing the online game with your buddy in the same room. Oh, that shit's lit. Don't order chicken cheesesteaks.
How do you feel about this comment? I saw somebody make this comment where they took a picture of their kids doing exactly what we just described, and it was their kids. So one's on a bunk bed, the other's on a desk. They're all spread out throughout the room. He called it LAN Party 2.0, where it's almost like the original LAN parties. Remember when they used to have like rows of computers and like the old LAN parties where they would all link up together? They'd be in the same room and they'd all hardwire in and they'd all be on their own PCs, but they'd all be playing Doom or whatever together.
Sure, yep, like shooting.
He said this feels like a LAN party. They're just wirelessly connected and they're all together still talking shit.
They have their own device.
Yeah. They're linked together. They're playing online, but they're in the same room together with, like you said, the pizza bagels and the goddamn Sprite and everything.
Oh my God.
And everywhere. My son, we had to have a conversation because my son does this. It annoys me to no end. When he's gaming, and I mean he's in, he waits until somebody walks by the door of his bedroom and he goes, hey. It's like, oh, what? He goes, can you get me something to drink? It's like, or can you get me a bite to eat or something like that? He won't move. I said, Alex, if you're not talking to your friends, all right, and I'm not one of those parents, I know he can't pause the game. I get it. But I'm just saying, if you're in a lull, right? If you're playing this game and now you're in the lobby, nothing's happening. Get the fuck up. Pee. Don't piss your bed. Go pee. Go get the food and substance and go the fuck back in. He's gotten into the habit recently of vacuuming his bed now. This is a thing that has to happen now.
It's not a bad thing.
Well, I mean, he's eating in the bed. And she used to freak out about it. Now she's lost all control of it. Because it's
turning into a teenager, dude.
Yeah, I know. We've had that conversation a lot this past week because he's so tall and he went to Puerto Rico and he's around his family and they're like, Jesus Christ, he's tall. It's like, yes, I know. He's trying to get his ass kicked at this point. But anyway, this is going to be a fun fucking ride with this kid. Let me tell you something. So he plays with his friends and stuff like that. We spoke about it here on the show about the whole Roblox thing and the security and whatnot and all that stuff. And I'm happy about the fact that him and his friends are very conscious of that stuff, because I just recently went to an indoor playground with him and a couple of his school buddies, a couple, not just one. And they were mixed, boy, girls, whatever, right? It was just a group of kids. We worked it out with the parents. We all got together. We said, okay, go run. And they ran for 45 minutes. And then they went, look, all this running around. One of the friends actually said out loud, because I think he said what everybody was thinking. He goes, could be playing Dandy's World right now. It's like we could be doing something else right now. Like this is like their mode.
The degen is starting to slowly take over your body.
And you can hear it from the room. We're talking 10, 11-year-old kids, and they're screaming at each other. I couldn't get there. I was in lag. I don't know what part of that aren't you getting? I'm lagging. Why are you lagging? I don't know why I'm lagging. I'm trying. Look, you know what? I'm not even gonna. Let me just restart the device. And then we'll come back. Just don't start another room until I get back. I'll restart it. This is 10-year-olds. And they're like, I can't. If you're not gonna play distraction, we can't complete this floor. You have to distract over there while I'm doing the task here. Don't distract near me, or this is 10-year-olds, and they're strategizing,
days, man.
And they're just, and I can hear there'll be like 3, 4, 5 of them all on the same group voice chat, and I hear them all screaming at each other like wild animals. Alex, you need to come in. I am over here. You are supposed to. And then when it's over, they're all talking like normal. But during the heat of the game, it's murder.
It's so weird to hear you. It's so weird to hear you talk about it this way. Like, I know you're not saying it in like a negative way, but it's just so interesting. Like I feel like I was around that age when I was doing shit like that too. So,
but when you were to a degree, but when you did it, it was new, right? There was no generation before you that did that. I mean, even when we broke it down, when we did the Game Changer stuff, and we were talking about all those, the Famicons and the Nintendo systems, and when we did the history of a lot of this stuff, you didn't have access. The arguing that happened over video games in those times happened in the room, right? It happened if you were in the room and you did player 1, player 2. I could see some arguments. When you had those computer games, when you were having the LAN parties, I understand that. We're living in a completely new world. These kids are they're all over this shit, and it's absolutely insane. So just really quickly, also, when it comes to the PlayStation, what was the last PlayStation that you had? Was it 3 or was it 4? 2 was the last one.
I actually was talking to somebody about it today. It was 2.
It was 2. Okay.
It was 2. I played a lot of games before it, but PlayStation 2s with Final Fantasy X. I played a lot of PS1 games on 2. A lot of Maddens. I played a lot of PlayStation 2. I was a PlayStation guy in PlayStation 2. Then I got Final Fantasy 11 for PlayStation 2 with the hard drive in the back, and I stuck with that game till today. It's on right now. So, but that took me to PC and never looked back. So
there it is. That's why I was going to ask what happened after that. Yeah,
I was on PC. I think PS3 may have came out at the time, but again, same situation, right? Like you could still do things on the PS2, but my advantage was I wasn't getting new games. I was playing this one. And then the Xbox that came out, that was really nice. My buddy he upgraded from the PlayStation 2 to the Xbox and was playing this game on the Xbox. I had an infatuation with PC, so all the while I was trying to piece together PCs from parts and friends and stuff like that. And at one point, I was able to put one together. Actually, I think that was the first time I attempted and I failed. But I eventually was able to put together a PC and started playing on that and never went back to console after that. And I highly advise everyone else to do the same thing.
Real quick before I move on to the next topic, aside from the ones that you've mentioned so far, which is like obviously the Final Fantasy 11, which is obviously you're tremendously big on, what are some of your fond PlayStation memories that you had when you still had the console? Like, what were some PlayStation 2 games that you still remember to this day that just like
2 specifically, or just PlayStation in general?
Well, either one,
because
I
only say two classics.
Because I only say two as a point of reference because that was the last one you owned. So if you have others that you come to mind that you were a fan,
I mean, PlayStation in general, man. You sent me a picture. Oh man, I love that game. Actually, you know what? I just got an idea. Anyway, sidebar. I'll move past it. The Tetris game, that was a huge part. I fucking love that Tetris game.
Tetris Plus, I think it was the one with the
Tetris
little guy.
Plus was fucking amazing. Any sports game, I played any and all sports game I can find. Like all of those games. Crash Bandicoot was huge.
I'm not a gamer, but I do have two from PlayStation. It always pops in my head whenever I see that gray box. It always pops into my head. Resident Evil, because that was one of the first ones. That's one of the first like kind of shooter games that I played as long as I could, I guess, before I got frustrated. Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal's another big
huge
one
for me. So big for me that
huge.
Even the show for I thank the good Lord above that he blessed me with Twisted Metal all those years ago, because when the show dropped, I knew everybody. I knew all the characters. And I loved the story for the show, but the game itself just being an all-out rock'em sock'em, just blow shit up kind of thing, and being able to cheese that Spectre and just let those homies hit your bitch ass without you even seeing where I'm at, or Warthog splitting you with those goddamn red, white, and blue missiles.
That game was fantastic because depending on who you were playing, literally was the difficulty of the game. If you had Sweet Tooth, you're probably crushing people. If you're playing as Grasshopper, you're gonna have a tough fucking time because your special beats you the fuck up. Like that was amazing. It was so good, so good. Tomb Raider was another huge one for me. Huge for me.
I have a memory of you. Weren't you a Kingdom Hearts guy?
Was another one?
Was that
I actually, funny enough, remember when they announced that they were coming out with that game. My buddy had read it in a magazine, and he was making jokes about how he doesn't want Disney with his Final Fantasy, and we joked about it all day long, and we thought it was the funniest shit in the world. And then the game finally came out, and it was a fucking banger, dude. That game was so fucking good. So good, especially for that time. And there were so many good games for it, but I don't know. PC outscales console. And with everything becoming cross-compatible, and this is another conversation I want to have. I need to do more research on it because I'm actually getting frustrated a little bit on the topic because I keep hearing shit. But that Steam PC/console is I don't know, man. I really think because
before that handheld Xbox thing. Okay.
Yes. So they there's a leak that's out. So I didn't really want to bring it. When you asked me, I didn't really want to bring it up yet because I want to read more into it before I start talking about it. But there was a leak on pricing and stuff like that. And I wanted to play with the idea of what that pricing, if that pricing is true, if it's good or bad. And I'm leaning towards good, give or take 1,000, basically. Spoiler. It's like the leak saying give or take 1,000 based on the size. I think there's like I don't know what the gigabyte size is, and then there's a terabyte, and I think they leaked the terabyte to be like 1,000 something. But yeah, so basically, I think with all these gaps being bridged, yeah, we're in for a pretty big shakeup when it comes to like gaming in general, and I'm very interested to see like where it goes. But this is the start of it. The PS4. We have no use for it, especially with the collaborations we're doing now. Everyone needs to be on the same page as far as hardware goes. So this is just a smart next step. That's it.
That's it.